What's up YouTube, this is Harvey 1997 here, coming at you today with my review for Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions, the movie. So, warning now, there will be some spoilers, so yeah, just keep that in mind. So, I'll just say right off the bat, the movie, in my opinion, was amazing. Very, very good job. Very good, very good. Worth the 2-hour drive it took because, you know, there's so few theaters actually had it. So, the main plot, I guess, is between Kaiba, who really just he's trying to complete the Millennium Puzzle to bring the Pharaoh back to duel him again because he didn't get to do that. He never got his revenge after, I think the last time Yugi and Kaiba actually duel, if I remember correctly, was Battle City in the finals. I don't believe they faced each other again after that, to be quite honest, after he lost Obelisk. But yeah, so Kaiba wants that. Yugi, along with his friends, they're preparing to graduate, so they're just kind of living normal lives. And then there's a student also in their class named Agami, who, how do I say, he's the main antagonist, I guess. I mean, this is Kaiba's movie, to be quite honest. Kaiba is what made this movie so good, in my opinion. He was very badass throughout the whole thing. Between all his cards, between the top deck that I'll get to in a bit, his dual disc, the space elevator, all of it. It's just very, very cool. But Agami, he's trying to avenge his master, which you later find out is Shoddy. He's trying to avenge him by defeating the Pharaoh, which the Pharaoh's already left. So to prevent, but it's more or less that he's trying to prevent the Pharaoh from coming back. The way he can do that is by removing the Pharaoh's vessel, Yugi. So they're kind of all in they're all trying to do their own thing against each other, and what eventually happens is Kaiba calls for a tournament. Actually, one thing I do want to get to before that, actually. As I said, Kaiba was trying to piece together the Millennium Puzzle, so he's digging through that all the wreckage where the tablet went into the ground after the Pharaoh left, because everything, is buried. Oh, actually, and I apologize for not saying this earlier. For those who don't know, this movie takes place, I believe, just a few months after Season 5 of the original series. So that if that helps kind of you figure out when it takes place, where, all that. So it has nothing to do with GX, 5Ds, any Zexal, R5, none of those. It's completely just the original anime. And also because I heard someone try and say something that Kaiba uses synchros in this to support the new card. No, he doesn't. It's still just normal summon, tribute summon, fusion summon, ritual summon. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so while he had, after he found all the pieces, before he could move it to a place where he would complete the puzzle, Agami, the antagonist, he tries to prevent Kaiba from taking them because he doesn't want the Pharaoh to come back. So they duel, and they do this weird thing called dimension dueling, which I can't really explain that. It was kind of confusing, to be honest. But so just before Kaiba would lose, he rips top deck Obelisk the Tormentor. How does he do it? That's kind of uncertain. Some people also kind of said it looked like he took it from the ground. I say bullcrap to that. He took it from his deck. It is not a new print of the card. He did not make his own copy. I can assure you that. Because remember, they tried that in the beginning. They mentioned that they tried that in the beginning of Season 2. You cannot copy the God cards. What I honestly believe was the case is that Kaiba, being pre-Seto in his past life, and having that connection to both the Millennium Rod and to Obelisk in his past life and in his modern life, I think that is honestly what let him draw Obelisk, I guess. I mean, it's if you've seen, I don't know, it kind of reminds me in a way of 5Ds when Jack and Yusei were able to, or they draw Majestic Dragon, a card that they can only get when the Crimson Dragon tells them, or I guess shows them, this is the time for it. I think that it's kind of something along those lines where it's like it's not really in his deck, but because his will is so strong, if you will, pun, that he was able to essentially draw it even though it wasn't in his deck. If only we could do that in real life, that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, so then while Kaiba's getting away though, Agami snags a piece of the Millennium Puzzle without him realizing. So then Kaiba uses a computer to completely create the Millennium Puzzle, realizing there are 2 pieces missing. When he realizes there are 2 pieces missing, he finds that Agami took one, or he took 2. He gave one of them to his sister. His sister, not believing that Agami was working for the good of the world, but rather for evil, gave a piece to Yugi, knowing that Yugi would do the right thing with it. So then Kaiba gets both Yugi and Agami together for a tournament, which is really just Kaiba wanting to beat both of them, build the puzzle, and then face a Tim. Yeah, so Yugi first duels Agami and wins. So then Kaiba duels Yugi, and before the end of their duel, their duel didn't actually have an end, I guess. But before, like when it was about at the climax of their duel, Kaiba said that he basically said that he would make sure and make certain, or whatever he said, that the Pharaoh would come back. Then you get a very, like, I guess, kind of sad moment where Yugi says that it wasn't truly in Kaiba's control, even knowing that he wanted the Pharaoh to come back. Yugi puts the 2 pieces in the puzzle and presses on the Eye of Ujat. He presses the eye in the middle of it, and it doesn't bring back the Pharaoh, it's just a click. And then everyone's just watching in awe, and then Yugi says, the Pharaoh's gone. And that honestly got to me, I won't lie. And it got to Kaiba too. He was just in total distraught over that. So about that point, Agami then in his alternate dimension that he's currently in, finds the Millennium Ring. Millennium Ring takes control of him. He becomes super ridiculously dark and comes back to duel Yugi and Kaiba. Yugi and Kaiba take him on an tag duel. He would have defeated them both, but Kaiba at the last when he attacked Yugi, Kaiba activated a trap that made him lose instead, that made Kaiba lose instead. And when Kaiba was asked by Yugi why he did that, he simply looked at him and he said, "Bring him back." He just told Yugi, make sure to bring the Pharaoh back. And then Kaiba fades away by Agami's power to warp people into a different dimension. And Yugi does eventually defeat him with a kind of conditional lock, I guess you could say. If you remember the episode of Battle City where he forced Slifer with a revival jam, that infinite loop that made his opponent lose. Think of something kind of like that, except battle damage. So then after that was all over, everyone who was warped in a different dimension came back. Everything's fine now. World is saved. There's some other subplots that come on, like you get to see things like Taya, she goes off She leaves everyone. They wish her well. She goes somewhere for her dance career that she talks about a few times in the original anime. Kaiba, he's not quite done, if you will. Mokuba tells him, "Make sure you come back," and then and then you see Kaiba like he's starting his prototype thing, which you're not really certain what is, but then you look and you see one of Aigami's items, I guess, in there with him, the thing that I guess gave Aigami his power, and Kaiba goes, using that technology combined with his technology and all that, he essentially goes back in time to the Pharaoh, and he finds the Pharaoh. The movie ends with Kaiba activating his dual disc, looking straight at the Pharaoh, just completely stern-faced, like it's like you know what's going to happen. And then the Pharaoh like looks at him, like he's kind of like this, right, with some shade over his eyes, looks up, and simply smiles at him. Then, cut to black. It was a really, really perfect ending, in my opinion. And I guess I actually just left out one of the, probably my favorite line in the entire movie, to be honest. After Yugi defeated Agami, everyone comes back. Kaiba and Yugi are discussing like that Kaiba saved himself just to try and bring back the Pharaoh and all that. He acknowledged that he really cared about him, and Kaiba said, "You have your bond with the Pharaoh, and I have mine." And I'm not gonna lie, I did cry a little bit. Not very much. It was basically just a little bit of water-eyed, but you know that. Seeing that Kaiba act so tough like that through the whole movie, but then you know he still like truly cares for the Pharaoh. It was just a very, very well written movie overall. Trying to think if there's anything else significant that happens. I think that's about it, to be completely honest. There's some other moments here and there. There's lots of good one-liners, if you're into that. Personally, I didn't like it the most because my theater was like a live studio audience, and that if something funny was said, or even something that was, I guess, not supposed to be funny, like, for example, like the Blue Eyes Jet, you're not supposed to laugh at that when you see it, but everyone in the theater laughed so hard you couldn't hear what was going on the screen because of it. So, okay, well, you know what? I think I'll I'll end the review there. If I were to give it a rating 5 stars, I'd probably give it anywhere from 4 to 4.5. I think it was a very well written movie. One of the only concerns I had before going in, I just didn't want it to be like just fueling off nostalgia. And personally, I think it did a very good job of not doing that. Yes, there was lots of nostalgia in it, but I think even without that, it was still a very solid movie. That's what I liked. Between things like Kaiba trying to get his revenge, between that, seeing the Millennium items come back again was just very sweet, very cool to see. There was just so many very, very cool moments in that. Okay, so if you guys have seen The Dark Side of Dimensions, tell me in the comment section below what you thought about the movie. One thing to note is you do get an Obelisk the Tormentor card if you go see it. I actually still have mine in its pack. It comes in a little silver pack that you just open it up and it has Obelisk in it. But yeah, I still have mine in there. I'm thinking about doing an opening on it, but I think I'm just going to honestly hold on to it in the pack, let it kind of gain some value. If you're not too obsessed with the card, that might be a good thing to do, because you never know what it might be worth if it's still sealed one day. So yeah, if you guys have seen it, tell me in the comments section below what you thought about it. If you haven't seen it, tell me how hyped you are. And if you haven't seen it, well, I guess you're probably not going to see this part of the video anyway, because you probably would have left when you said and found out there were spoilers. Okay, anyway guys, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe for all my future content. I'll catch you in my next video.